You don't have to live with constant pain all your life. In today's live session, I'm going to share with you a three-part framework which will help you to understand how you can reduce your constant pain, how you can increase your fatigue levels, if you're dealing with any kind of autoimmune conditions, using this three-part framework, simply because this has been designed specifically for women with autoimmunity based on years of coaching, and it's been customized for addressing the true root causes of autoimmunity using a functional medicine approach. So let's learn a bit more. Let's dive into this topic. And if you're joining me live, just drop in and tell me where you are joining from. Don't forget to say hi. It's always nice to connect with you. So let's get going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a link because I'm opening my 6-month health coaching program, Healing from Within. For again, this is open for women with autoimmune conditions, looking to address the root cause of the autoimmunity, and it's going to open for enrollment end of this month. So if you would like to schedule an clarity call, then make sure that you head to the link in the bio on Instagram and just click on the link that I'm going to share in the Facebook post, right? So you can do that. Let's get going. So, healing from within is a framework that is a three-part framework, and I will briefly touch upon how it's going to help you, how it's going to help you to understand the and get some answers. I think one of the main things that I see when I sort of interact with anybody with autoimmunity, when I coach my clients, is that there is a certain level of confusion, there is a certain level of hopelessness, frustration, overwhelm, simply because they are not getting the answers that they want. And I can completely understand and relate to it, because for many years that's exactly the same situation I was in. And yes, Anita, meaning to chat up. Yes, good to see you. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining. So, I was just sharing with you that I was in the exact same position like you. And when my daughter was unwell, when she was dealing with immune dysregulation and a severe chronic illness, in her case, it was eczema. But again, you have immune dysregulation at the crux of that as well. And it took a long time for me to get the answers, to figure out how to help her, reduce her stress from the severe itching, the pain that she was in. So, this is something that I know from personal experience, and that is why I am so sort of passionate about this particular chronic illness, and how why I've chosen to focus on this. So, this is a holistic approach. So, healing from within gives you a holistic and a very different perspective than the conventional approach. You're not relying only on medications. Don't get me wrong. Medications are important, they are life saving, and in the case of autoimmunity, they can help you to manage very, very severe symptoms, because the symptoms can be debilitating. So in the short run, these medications can be truly life saving. These medications can really help you, but the problem is that these do not offer any solutions at all. And if you remain stuck on these kind of medications, then you have long term side effects, and you have to typically increase the dosage. You start seeing less results, and each of these medications, these are all drugs, so they have their own side effects. I am again well familiar with many of these medications, because we use them for our daughter. She went off all medication subsequently by addressing her root causes, which was gut. Yeah, and you can, so that's where it is. So, addressing the root causes without relying only on medications is what I have sort of designed this program to be. The second thing is that if you want to reduce your chronic pain, your constant pain, what you need to understand what's really going on. And in fact, I did a recent live on this particular topic, on how to manage your constant pain. pain goes hand in hand. Pain and fatigue actually are the two most common symptoms which go hand in hand with autoimmunity. So, constant pain is something that I talked about recently. What are the underlying causes? So you can, you can check out my video on chronic pain. Like for example, in the case of pain from, in the case of autoimmune conditions, typically you have a huge level of ongoing chronic inflammation. It's like a fire which never really burns out, right? And that creates a lot of the pain that you typically see or associated with autoimmunity, whether it's joint pain, whether it's muscle ache. So that's the pain I'm talking about. But eventually, your body reaches a stage where very wisely it decides to stop producing so much of cortisol. I mean, it basically decides that enough is enough, because high levels of cortisol over long periods of time leads to many other health issues. So it decides to reduce the cortisol levels, and cortisol is a potent anti-inflammatory agent. And again, this is very common in autoimmunity, where you have depressed cortisol because the body has chosen not to produce high levels, because it knows how damaging it is over long periods of time, right? So it's more of a balance situation, which is a cortisol imbalance. And because cortisol is not able to actually have the effect of anti-inflammatory effect, which is why the pain levels increase. And you typically find, if you have an experience with autoimmunity, that a lot of the pain happens in the morning when you wake up. Again, this goes hand in hand with low levels of cortisol, which is supposed to be the highest in the morning. So, just this was just to give you a glimpse into how deep we go into this coaching program, because I understand exactly. You will understand, more importantly, you will get the answers as to what's really going on. What are the areas you need to focus on, what you need to prioritize, and what is the step by step approach. I think what happens is that we often try various things, obviously, because we are sort of we know that we are looking for answers, we are willing to change our diet, and we do that, right? I mean, I again have been in that situation where I changed my daughter's entire diet and nothing was really working. And I realized much later that it was because that I was not doing the right things in the right order. And in many situations, foods which I thought were healthy for her may not have actually really been healthy at that point in time, right? So these are some of the things that you may not really understand, you may not really know about, and unfortunately, neither does the conventional medicine world, right? Which is why you are not really getting the answers that you want. I mean, a lot of times when I interact with people with autoimmune conditions, including and my own clients, I try and find out what's really going on, what's really keeping people stuck, so that I can sort of design my program better. And I often find that they are not really getting the answers that they want. They're not getting the answers to figure out which direction they should head towards, right? And it's a big problem. I mean, even if you do, if you don't know what your next step is going to be, it's very difficult to figure out the entire journey. Forget about the next three steps. So what I do is, and I'm going to just share with you the three-part framework in a bit. Is that you need to understand what is really going on, and that's why I said you need to have the answers. You need to figure out what are the imbalances. Only then you can actually start addressing them, right? But before I get into the framework per se, I would just like to also reiterate that this program is not meant for everyone, right? Because I work with very limited one-on-one clients. So I don't usually work with more than 5 clients at a time, because there's a lot of work that we do, and I actually have multiple projects going on. So, and I want to ensure that the kind of attention and the energy that my clients need from me, that they should be getting from me. So I work with a limited number of clients at any point in time, and as I mentioned, it's usually about 5. And so I am very particular also about, just like you should be, who I want to work with. So for example, I want to work with women who are committed to putting in the time and the effort that it takes to make changes in their lives, right? So there are so many things that may need to change, starting from diet. I mean, that's the first thing that we talk about. Food is medicine. So there are certain foods that you might be consuming which are not suiting you. You might not be consuming which you need to, because there are certain nutrient deficiencies. So there's a huge change that happens as food is concerned. The other changes that happen are in terms of lifestyle. There are many products that we use. Toxins is a big trigger. So there are many products that we might be using in the kitchen, in personal care products. So there are many changes that we do over a period of time. Nothing happens overnight, of course. And the other changes can be in terms of the approach and the mindset that you take, because healing from a chronic illness is not a sprint, it is a marathon. It takes a very, very different approach than you would be probably used to. Many of us are actually used to going to the doctor, getting a prescription, taking the pill, and thinking that our responsibility ends there. I used to be the same. I mean, I used to think this way several years ago now. But when my daughter fell ill, I had to change the way I looked at healing. And I realized over time that healing is not about sort of outsourcing our entire healing process to experts, right? You are the expert on your own body, and in a way that no one ever can be. So these are some of the things that you need to take responsibility for, right? And but some of us are content with outsourcing our entire responsibility to the experts, right, to the professionals. And there are certain aspects of our health that we need to outsource. Like, obviously, if we need to get a particular medication which will help us to save our help to save our lives, to help for the tissue damage, yes, we need to outsource that component to the experts, because we don't know about it. If we need a particular surgery, then of course we need to outsource that. It's like, if we want to take a flight, we can't get into the cockpit and say, I want to fly this plane, right? Because we don't know. So there are obviously certain aspects of your health and healing which you need to outsource. But the rest of it, and I think a majority of it, is going to be in your hands as far as a chronic illness is concerned. And that's the difference between dealing with an acute versus chronic illness. The majority of the healing is your responsibility. So if you're not ready to take that responsibility and putting in the time, then this program may not work for you. And of course, the other aspect of this program is about listening to your body, listening to yourself. It flows from here. So if you're not willing to put in the time that it takes to truly understand what your body is trying to tell you, then again, this program may not really work for you. So what is this framework that I have been talking about? This framework is a 3-part framework, and the 3 main parts of this is basically about simplification, simplify, reconnect, and sustain. So simplify has aspects of just being able to figure out what are the key areas that we need to look at, what are the priority areas, what are the things that you need to approach first, and in what order, right? So I basically help you to understand all of this with different resources through our live coaching sessions. So this is a simplify part of it, and it's the first part because it's a very foundational aspect of healing, without which we cannot really make much progress. And I think this gets skipped in many different modalities. We talk about things, we do things like eating hygiene, sleeping hygiene. These are such important key foundational aspects of healing that we really cannot take any shortcuts, right? So this is the key, the first part. Then you have the reconnect part, where we find a way to reconnect with ourselves, to figure out the connections between your different symptoms, between your lifestyle, between your issues, symptoms, lifestyle, stress, thoughts. Everything is connected. So this so understanding how this connection plays out is really important, because then only you will be able to remove the triggers that are sort of keep fanning the fires of autoimmunity. And of course, as I mentioned, laying the foundation becomes much easier. And then you have sustain, because this program, I basically want to help you not only get well, but stay well. And I find that this is another aspect which is usually missing from many other modalities, because this is something that I have, put in place from, again, personal experiences, and of course, my professional experiences of dealing with my clients, because I have found that when women come to me with these kind of chronic health issues, often they lack any consistent self-care practice, right? And for sustaining health, you need to be able to prioritize your own health, because as women, we typically tend to put ourselves at the bottom of our to-do list. So we need to prioritize ourselves. We need to have in place a consistent self-care routine, and we need to figure out ways to regulate our emotions, so that we can manage our emotional health better. All of these play a huge role in healing process, right? And healing from any chronic illness, whether it's autoimmunity or anything else. But this is what will help you to not only get well, but it's going to help you to stay well, so that you don't get stuck. And we call it in functional medicine a revolving door of disease. Otherwise, what really happens if we don't add in this last part of the framework is that we get better, yes, because we take out certain foods, we do certain things, we figure out, how to address some of our gut issues, and then after 6 months, a year and a half, when we go back to our old lifestyle, we are back, in almost in square one, right? That's not what should happen. And but that's very common, and we call it the revolving door of disease. So we have done a few things, then we've gotten better, then and again, so we went back to our, because we didn't change our habits, we didn't change our behavior, right? And any kind of change which if it has to be sustained, it should be in the form of a transformation, which is where the coaching comes in. Otherwise, it's so easy to say that, I want to start exercising, I want to start eating better, eating healthy and eating salads, but it doesn't really work, does it? You do it for a while, and then again, you let go, right? That's how, we work. It's there's nothing wrong with you or me. So, but what happens with the help of the coaching part of the framework, the self-care part, we actually put in place a proper self-care plan, is that even once you stop working with me, even if you're on your own eventually, you should be able to know how to sustain your health, right? And you should be able to, what should I say, navigate your way or change or tweak your course as and when required, because your body is constantly changing. You'll be going through different phases in your life. So you will have to adapt to that, and you will have to learn how to listen to your body to do that. Because if you don't do that, you're only relying on external cues, and that's not really helpful for long-term health creation. So listening to your body's wisdom forms an integral part of this program. I built it in right so that you start accessing it in right from day one. That is how you build long-term health. That is how you not only get well but stay well. That's really important, right? So this program, and I mentioned the three parts. One is the simplify, second is the reconnect, and the third is sustain, right? These three parts go hand in hand. There is an element of overlap, so that it's a smooth, as far as you are concerned, it's a very smooth process of healing. And most of my clients, actually, when I ask them that, what is, if you had to use one word for this, what is the word that you would use? They would say effortless. It's not, because it's not very complicated. I make it as simple for you as possible, but it's not easy, right? You need that accountability, you need the support, you need the guidance. You need to know what to do first, what to do second, what to do third. You need to be able to understand what's going on in your body, because you want the answers, right? You want the direction. You don't want to sort of stumble around blindly in the dark, which is what many people with autoimmune conditions are doing today. They are wandering around in the dark. They are doing searches on Google, trying to find some idea as to what's going on. They don't even, unfortunately, it's not very easy to diagnose which autoimmune condition you have, because what happens is that a whole basket of symptoms is named as one, labeled as one autoimmune condition, then another basket of symptoms is labeled as another, then third basket of symptoms is labeled as the third. But the immune system is so complex, and if the immune system is dysregulated, it can affect any part of your body, which is why it gets so tricky to figure out. One is a diagnosis, secondly, how to get better, because all you end up doing otherwise is just suppress the immune system and not really address what's going on. Which is why in functional medicine we say autoimmunity are not several diseases, because the etiology, the root is the same. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it is in immune dysregulation, and we know what's going on. We know that there is enhanced intestinal permeability or leaky gut. We know that there is an environmental trigger, and then we know that there is a genetic predisposition. So these are the three things which are at the root of all autoimmune conditions. We know that, right? So, how does this program work? This program works as a one-on-one coaching. So you have short video content, you have live sessions that are also scheduled every other week. This goes on for 6 months. So these two elements of coaching sort of support each other. Then you also have different resources. There is a platform called Practice Better, where all the resources are shared. So they are in one place and via email as and when required. So you have different protocols, you have different handouts. There are foods that you should be what foods you should be taking, what foods you are avoiding, what are the other things like sleeping hygiene, eating hygiene. So there are a lot of handouts which are given over a period of time via Practice Better. Then you of course have books and journals which would support you in your healing journey. So these are some of the ways that this program has been designed to give you the maximum support and guidance that you need to see your health outcomes. You want to get better. This program has been designed to get you there, right? We define the goals and make sure that you see and you're able to reduce your pain when you actually get into an anti-inflammatory diet, when your body, when you're able to create a healing environment. A lot of the pain related symptoms go down. A lot of the other symptoms start going down because we are not addressing symptom by symptom. The fatigue levels go down, your energy levels go up. So all of these things, they don't happen in one day, of course, but you start seeing the results, you start seeing the improvements right from the start. And of course, there are some bonuses that get added. So whether it's in the form of private audio, this is something that I've added recently. This will give you exclusive resources on autoimmunity and anything that I know will support you further. There will be guided meditations or visualizations, all of which are designed to make this success for you. And then bonuses like essential oils, basket, grocery hamper for those clients as of now in India. So there are many bonuses that are a journal, a book. I typically customize the book or a journal depending on what your interest is, what will help you the most. So in the past, I have shared different kind of journals, books on different topics. So for clients with autoimmunity, thyroid health issues, I have gifted books on thyroid. Overall autoimmunity, it depends. I mean, so these are the bonuses that I keep adding on from time to time. And so finally, if you are willing to, if you're interested in sort of having a look at what how this program can help you, how healing from within can help you to manage your constant pain, reduce your fatigue, and help you get well and stay well, then make sure that you click on the link in the Facebook post and the link in the bio for Instagram and schedule a clarity call. Because in this call we'll see if you're a right fit for each other. And the clarity, because this program opens for enrollment later this month on the 28th, and it closes by the 31st, end of this month. As I mentioned, that there are limited number of spots available. I work with a very limited number of clients, about usually 5 women at a time. So make sure that you schedule your clarity call, and that's where we'll see if you're a right fit. There is a health self-assessment that happens. You will understand yourself better, what are the things that you are dealing with and which areas we will probably be able to look at. And Yeah, and then that's the first step. And then, of course, after that, if you do sign up, then it's very simple. You make the payment, and then we'll schedule the coaching calls every other week. There are certain forms which are much more detailed, which have to be filled up, and that's where we start. So any particular questions, do drop in the comments. And otherwise, this is a free 45-minute clarity call. Make sure that you schedule the call. I am starting the calls this week. Doing it this next couple of weeks or so. Make sure that you schedule the calls today so that I can answer all your questions, clear your doubts, and we can sort of see if we can work together.